UPP! 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 My countrymen and women, I want you to lend me your ears. Tidings of great joy is coming. The tidings of great joy speak to what? The UPP winning the next general election in Antigua and Barbuda. Oh, what a wonderful sight we've had here at King George V grounds tonight. Oh, what a wonderful sight it is to see so many of you out here. Oh, how wonderful it is to see you come out to celebrate the leadership of the United Progressive Party's administration of the affairs of Antigua and Barbuda. And how wonderful it is, my dear good people, to have you out here celebrating you, the Antiguan and Barbudan people, because this election, brothers and sisters, is all about you, the people of Antigua and Barbuda. It is about celebrating a success story that has been about your interest, about your well-being, about securing your future. Tonight is about celebrating the UPP working in your interest for another 5 years. Brothers and sisters, as the chief servant of you, the people, I give God thanks for you. As a party, we give God thanks for you. As a nation, we give God thanks. And as one people under UPP banner that puts you, the people of Antigua and Barbuda, first, we are required to ensure that we do not stray off track. Come the next election, my dear good people, we must ensure that we keep out those vagabonds and scoundrels of the Antigua Labour Party from coming back to wreck this country again. I assure you, their quest, their hunger to gain power once again is not about you, the people. It is about their self-interest. They want to come back in from the cold to warm their hands and their pockets. It has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with Antigua and Barbuda. It has everything to do with what's in the interests of Gaston, Assot, Leicester, Chet, Malwyn, and the rest. Picture it, brothers and sisters. A government once again of Gaston, Assot, Leicester, Chet, and the rest. Is that what you want? Is that what you want? I ask again, is that what you want? Well, brothers and sisters, if you don't want that, then you have to make sure you keep them out. You notice how wonderful you look in your UPP walking shoes? Walking confidently with the UPP. Well, it's time to walk the length and breadth of Antigua and Barbuda. Walk to keep out the vagabonds and scoundrels. Walk to spread the good news of the UPP. Walk to protect your children's future. Walk to ensure that your country stays in safe and sane hands. Walk to every nook and cranny in this country. Walk and knock on every door. Speak to every individual in every community and spread the good news of the United Progressive Party. Don't be fooled by them. They can't beat us on performance. They can't beat us on leadership. They can't beat us on who has the best interests of the people of Antigua and Barbuda at heart. Brothers and sisters, You know, before the Labour Party had nothing to do, before the Labour Party had nothing to do about Antigua in the past. But that party was all about Ascot and Leicester, the Ascot-Leicester party. Well, Brown came along, and he would not be left out. So lately, you hear they've added a B to the ALP. And that B, my dear good people, has nothing to do with Barbuda, just as the A had nothing to do with Antigua. That B is all about Brown, Brown, Brown. So now the ABLP is all about Ascot, Brown, and Leicester. It is the Ascot, Brown, and Leicester party now. Ascot, Brown, and Leicester party. We have to be aware of them. You have to even ask Robin. You have to ask Smallwin. You have to ask Davin. You have to ask Maureen Hyman. You have to ask Osbert. You have to ask our own Gail Christian. You have to ask our own Gail Christian. Grace Green people. You have to ask our own Gail Christian. But brothers and sisters, you have to be proud of your party. Be proud of the leadership we have given to this country. The United Progressive Party administration is unmatched. Oh, this is blessings. You have to go through this. Stay with it, my dear good people. Stay with it. The Lord is showering his blessings upon the UPP and Antigua and Barbuda. Stay with it, my dear good people. When it comes to the development of social programs for the people of this country and handling the economy of Antigua and Barbuda in extremely difficult and challenging times, you can't beat the United Progressive Party. I say to you, show me another administration which has governed Antigua and Barbuda in the past and that has an education track record as the United Progressive Party administration. I wish also for you to advise me of any previous administration that has implemented any single policy that benefited our children and young people, as the Information Communication Technology Program implemented by the United Progressive Party administration. Under our ICT program, my dear good people, more students have access to computers, high-speed internet, and 4G LTE-enabled computer tablets. Many of our young people who today have come of age can count their blessings that they were fortunate to have been spared the atrocities, the pain, and the agony of that unbelievable and unforgivable Ascot-Leicester Party era. History demands of us, my dear good people, an obligation to educate and enlighten them in gaining a well-informed understanding and appreciation of the perilous road through which their parents had been made to journey during this blot in our nation's journey toward nationhood. I simply say to you, our young people, ask your parents, ask your grandparents, and ask your teachers. Young people must learn from their elders that today, thanks to the vision, wisdom, foresight, and forbearance of the United Progressive Party, Antiguans and Barbudans can once again lift their heads high and with pride, with grace, and with dignity reclaim their rightful place among the illustrious family of the world's most successful and respected and responsible nations. The Ascot, Brown, Leicester Party speak in forked tongues as they seek to deny the people of Antigua and Barbuda the pride of place which we enjoy in having recovered from the calamity which faced the country in the period leading up to the 2004 general elections. We have successfully emerged, brought about an enviable era of restoration and progress, the likes of which is perhaps unparalleled in the history of economies of small states, as is the case of Antigua and Barbuda. Take pride in the empowerment of our young people. The advances made, my dear good people, in providing better quality opportunities through higher education and the largest number of awards of scholarships ever granted by any government in the CARICOM region in such a short period of time. Take time to reflect for yourselves on the recovery of the economy, in the restoration of confidence in the commercial and industrial potential of the country that had been threatened by the indiscretions of the past and further spurred on by the same worldwide economic downturn. And I could go on and on, my dear good brothers and sisters. I could go on, but I want to say to you at this juncture, look at what they've done to this country. Compare it to what the UPP has done in the past 10 years, and you will get the answer. And the answer is 5 more years for the UPP. Can I hear you? 5 more years for the UPP. 5 more years for the UPP. My dear good people, the other question that you have to ask yourselves is, who do you trust? Who do you trust with the leadership of this country? Who do you trust to manage the country's affairs at this time and into the foreseeable future? You know, some of them can't even manage their own affairs. Where they don't get eviction notice, they clearly tell a story which says, if they cannot manage a supermarket, how can they manage the affairs of this country? How can they manage the affairs of this country? But brothers and sisters, a great deal of work is ahead. A lot has been done, but there's more work to do. This celebration we have here tonight is another major step forward in our march toward the goal of victory. I call upon each and every one of you to continue to pray for the officers and members of the UPP and for all those who will actively engage in the battle for supremacy at the polls. Pray for our nation, and especially in the days ahead when the election fever continues to heat up. Pray for an unprecedented, overwhelming victory at the polls and the inevitable return of the United Progressive Party to office on election day. Our people, the citizens of Antigua and Barbuda, deserve nothing less. Walk with us. Defend your party. Move forward with confidence. It is your future, a future that is achievable with the United Progressive Party. Brothers and sisters, stick with the UPP now more than ever. I want to take this opportunity to address a particular matter, and it concerns directly the pending general elections in this country. Gaston Brown and others have been walking about Antigua and Barbuda and spouting this nonsense about we don't want the elections. We want the elections. We're ready. We are ready. Aren't you ready? Aren't you ready? Aren't you ready? We're ready to take them on and bang them again. But what is stopping that? What is stopping that? We want the election now. I want it now. You want it now. Antigua and Barbuda want it. But the reality of the situation is this. Gaston Brown and them, they started it since 2009. Do you realize that after the election in 2009, this government, this UPP administration, was not able to govern for almost 2 years as a result of their taking the elections into court, and we were tied up in court. The country was literally crippled as a result of that. So we lost almost 2 years of our second term, my dear good people. Those are the facts. And then they're coming again, taking everything to court. The Boundaries Commission report they took to court. The re-registration exercise they took to court. We won in the first court in both situations, both with the Boundaries Commission and with the re-registration exercise. And they went back to court again. So if anybody is holding up the elections, it's not them, because they're in court. They're the ones in court. And one questions whether or not they really want the election, because they know that they're bound to lose this election. So they want to delay it as much as possible. I want to challenge Gaston Brown tonight. I want to challenge him. I want to say to Gaston Brown, be a man, stand up, and if you are so interested in having an election, I call upon you tonight. I challenge you to withdraw those cases from the court. Withdraw them immediately. And I can assure you that we can have elections in Antigua and Barbuda sooner than later. I am going further tonight and say to Gaston Brown, if by Monday you decide to withdraw those matters to clear the way for elections, I am prepared to announce soon thereafter the dissolution of Parliament to start the process for an election to take place in Antigua sooner than later. Gaston Brown, come up, man. Come up to the plate. Show you have some metal. That is the only way. That is the only way. Withdraw the cases from the court, and which will open the way for elections to be held in Antigua sooner than later, because we are ready. We are ready because we are going to bang them again. We are going to beat them again, my dear good people. Don't you agree? Don't you agree? Don't you agree that we have them? Don't you agree that we have them? Don't you agree that we have them again? My dear good people, you have been a wonderful people for your country, for yourselves, and for your community. I just want to say to the great people of St. John's Rural West, you have kept the faith, and you've got to continue to keep the faith. I love you, and you love me. We have had a love affair for years. Some people are very critical, but I know what I've done for this community and for this country. I am not one of those who go and talk about every single thing I do for everybody and every family, even the bird people and them. But I'm saying to you that this community is fully aware and fully understand that they have had good and effective representation coming from your humble servant. And I also know that the faith and confidence that has been stored in me in the past will be renewed when the time comes in Rural West. And I hope and I believe that the same thing will happen throughout the length and breadth of Antigua, and the United Progressive Party will be given the opportunity to have 5 more years. Let me hear you, 5 more years. 5 more years for the UPP. 5 more years. Prepare yourselves. The election may be coming like a thief in the night. Gaston Brown, do what you have to do. If you're a man and you're any kind of leader, take the necessary steps. You say you want election, well, you will get election, but you know what you have to do. Just do that, and we can move forward. My dear good people, I want to say to you, we cannot be weary in well-doing. We are on a good run. This nation will be in safe and sane hands with the United Progressive Party. We can begin to see the turnaround in the economic fortunes of Antigua and Barbuda. We are on the move to take this country to higher and greater heights. We cannot turn back now. We cannot lose the key of our brains to return to these vagabonds and scoundrels who have created so many problems for this nation, both locally and internationally. We are on a good track. We have not done everything to please everybody, But we have said we have done the greatest good for the greatest number under the circumstances in which we've had to exist. So brothers and sisters, we have nothing to be ashamed of. You have nothing to be ashamed of. That is why you're here in such great numbers, and that is why you're going to defend Antigua and Barbuda. Defend your country. Defend your communities. We have got to move forward together. We have got to win this one. You have got to win this one for me. This one is precious for me, my dear good people. You have got to go there and win it for your humble servant. You have got to go there and do it. Do it for yourselves, but do it particularly for me. This victory, my dear good people, will be the greatest victory for me in the political arena. You have got to go there. You have got to do it for me. But when you do it for me, you will be doing it for yourselves, your community, and your country. May God continue to bless us as a people and as a nation. Let us continue to do what is right and what is good. Stay with the United Progressive Party. We are the only choice right now for Antigua and Barbuda. We are the only choice, my dear good people. And when they talk about change, what change? The United Progressive Party is the change. We have already ushered in the change in Antigua and Barbuda, and we have got to move forward now to take us upwards and forwards. So I want to say to you, are you ready? Are you ready? Let me see those flags waving, man. Let me see those flags waving. Let me see those flags waving. Yes. 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 We have them. We have them. We have them. Again, let us go forward and win this election. Thank you. Good night. Let us continue to enjoy the program. Thank you very much. Let them walk on and brag. The riches go